I watched it once and then I went on the ride in Disney World, which was called Snow White's Scary Adventures. Doesn't sound like something a little kid would like. Was terrified of it. Never revisited Snow White again.
The Snow White dispute has taken an unexpected turn. Rachel Zegler, previously Disney's first pick for the lead in their live-action Snow White, is now eclipsed by Brett Cooper, a rising star in a competing adaptation of the famous story. Fans are divided, with one side praising Cooper's accurate representation and the other questioning Zegler's harsh comments about the original film.
I feel like it was like that for a lot of us. It's easier for me than it was for Tom because I wasn't playing a character that had already existed in the previous film.
The stress doesn't end there, since Zegler isn't handling the competition well. So here is the main question. Is Disney's Snow White destined for a fairy tale ending, or has the charm worn off? Starting with Disney's contentious move, or rather, movements. When Disney revealed Rachel Zegler, a superb Latina actress, as the new Snow White, the world was interested. Disney took a risk by recreating a beloved character with a contemporary twist. Fans were ecstatic to see a new take on the iconic fairy tale, and many saw Zegler's casting as a step forward in diversity and inclusion. However, when word spread, not everyone was on board. Snow White is a German fairy tale, and several critics claimed that the casting veered too far from its cultural roots. Social media was on fire, with disputes raging between those welcoming the change and purists who believed Disney was rewriting history. The true spark, however, came from Rachel. In interviews, she simply stated that the original 1937 picture was out of date. She even targeted Prince Charming, labeling his bond with Snow White as stalkerish. Some found this amusing, but for many longtime fans, it felt as if Rachel had switched the focus away from honoring the story's roots and on to something altogether new. And then she found herself at the center of the dispute. Disney wasn't only experimenting with casting. They opted to rework more than simply the main role. The 7 dwarfs, Snow White's heart and soul, have been replaced with magical beings. Fans perceived this artistic move as a betrayal. Snow White considered the dwarfs to be family, each with their own unique charm and peculiarities, rather than just sidekicks to be replaced. Outrage erupted immediately. Many in the dwarfism community blamed Disney of deleting crucial portrayals and abandoning a population who had previously been a part of the story's legacy.
It's not a progression at all to me. My issue with it is exactly what you said. There are actors, dwarf actors, that dream to be in a major motion picture such as this Disney remake.
Faced with rising criticism, Disney attempted to alter course by pledging to bring back the dwarfs, but their answer, a CGI-heavy reinterpretation, was ineffective. When fans got their first look, the parallels to Shrek were harsh. The once beloved dwarfs were now lifeless, magical valley creatures devoid of the original's enchantment. Critics lambasted the images, and fans wondered why Disney hadn't employed genuine dwarf actors. Instead of resolving the issue, Disney's approach just seemed to exacerbate the irritation, leaving consumers yearning for the charm they had grown up with. Following the outrage over her statements about the original film being out of date and characterizing Prince Charming as stalkerish, the situation only grew. Fans began to wonder if Zegler genuinely grasped the core of the narrative she was responsible for bringing to life. Many regarded her as not only modernizing but completely rejecting Snow White. For longtime Disney fans, this was more than simply a different approach, it was a betrayal. As if the issue wasn't already heated, Zegler's political tweet on Palestine put gasoline to the flames. Perhaps for the first time on Zegler's, she fakely cast-debated, and now there's no release date, Zegler cried. Complicating matters, her co-star Gal Gadot, a prominent proponent of Israel, became an unintentional victim in the crossfire. Rumors of animosity between the two actors spread, with fans wondering how the difficult relationship would affect the film's advertising. The initiative, which had previously aspired to reimagine a timeless classic, was now overshadowed by political intrigue and polarized public opinion.
Sent me the casting notice and said, "Thank me when you're famous." It's the craziest thing ever that it came true in that weird way, and that's why I bring her everywhere, and she's the best ever. But yeah, I put myself on tape. It's the worst tape you've ever seen in your life. I have no idea how I got the part still, and it's being used to teach future casting directors.
Speaking of fans, Rachel Zegler's Snow White has sparked heated debate on social media. Some admirers backed her vehemently, hailing her as a brave voice for modern narrative. Rachel Zegler just stated that the love tale of a 21-year-old man kissing a 14-year-old while she was unconscious is out of date, and millennials have not given us a one day of peace since, according to one Twitter user. Others, however, were less forgiving. Rachel Zegler, the new Snow White, is the most unlikable actress I've ever heard of. She despises her Snow White persona, and after speaking out against the first film, she is now sobbing because of the criticism. Another person commented with the hashtag narcissist. TikTok and Twitter were swamped with memes mocking her words, particularly the iconic stalker Prince remark. One widespread meme stated that Prince quickly regrets kissing Rachel Zegler as she begins raving about patriarchy. However, several people pointed out double standards. People chuckled when Harrison Ford said he loathed Star Wars. Rachel expresses herself and she has pulled down a fan on Twitter. As Disney's Snow White sparked debate, the Daily Wire took the limelight with their own version on the famous story, starring Brett Cooper as the renowned princess. Their rendition promised to be true to the original fairy tale, traditional, honest, and free of divisive political overtones. Fans who were already dissatisfied with Disney's approach welcomed this new option, prompting a lot of discussion. Cooper, in contrast to Zegler, approached the job with respect and reverence for its past. She spoke about the story's everlasting enchantment, and her passion shone through in each conversation. The teaser trailer charmed many. It possessed all the characteristics of the Snow White they remembered: magical woodlands, moving stories, and a princess who felt like she belonged in a fairy tale. The contrast between Cooper's polite depiction and Zegler's criticism was difficult to miss. What began as a modest alternative rapidly gained traction, serving as a lighthouse for those looking for the nostalgia that Disney's version lacked. And there's more. The dispute over Disney's Snow White escalated when David Hand, the son of one of the original film's filmmakers, became involved. For Eric Hand, Disney's live-action version was more than simply a film. It was an affront to his father's heritage. He criticized it for abandoning the simplicity and sincerity that helped make the 1937 masterpiece timeless. He contended that it read more like a political message than a fairy tale. Fans instantly joined in, echoing their dissatisfaction with current renditions that prioritize contentious agendas and ideologies above magic. Social media was flooded with requests for Disney to return to narrative that evoked amazement. It's unknown if the studio will listen, but one thing is certain: fans want to see the traditional Disney fairy tales return. As Brett Cooper's portrayal of Snow White gains popularity, insiders say Rachel Zegler isn't happy. According to reports, she has privately expressed her dissatisfaction, comparing the two films and claiming that her version is superior. For fans, the suggestions of competition have only fueled the drama. Social media has been flooded with parallels between the actresses, and the contrast could not be more glaring. Fans are taking sides, with many believing that Cooper's approach better captures the essence of Snow White than Zegler's modern feminist perspective. Whether the rumors are accurate or not, it is evident that Zegler is losing the public image fight. Disney's live-action remakes have been criticized for years, and Snow White appears to be on the same route. Fans are detecting a trend. Modern improvements can obscure the original's charm and brilliance. The Disney adaptation of The Little Mermaid has received a great deal of attention. The diverse hiring of Halle Bailey, a Black American actress, in the part of Ariel, sparked controversy. Following review bombing of the new live-action version, the Internet Movie Database was obliged to modify its rating system this week. Take The Little Mermaid, which, despite extensive advertising, performed poorly at the box office, grossing $569 million worldwide, well below expectations for a Disney classic. Mulan, for example, made just $70 million domestically, despite removing all legendary components. Audiences have been outspoken, criticizing these statements for prioritizing political propaganda above personal narrative. This trend is about more than simply box office revenue. It is also about trust. Disney originally had a formula for timeless tales that combined creativity and nostalgia. Now, Snow White is taking creative liberties that many fans do not understand. People are asking a basic question: when will Disney stop overcomplicating what made these stories popular in the first place? Fans are tired, and if Snow White fails, it might be just the wake-up call Disney needs. The imminent confrontation between Disney's Snow White and the Daily Wire's rendition seems like the ultimate Hollywood fight. On the one hand, Disney is betting on its past, hoping that its modern feminist spin would attract a new audience. On the other side, Brett Cooper's accurate version is gaining popularity among fans who are dissatisfied with Disney's approach. It's a difficult competition. Predictions for movie office performance are already pointing towards an upset. Could the Daily Wire's version, with its lesser budget and stronger fan base, surpass Disney's high-profile production? If this is the case, it would be a watershed moment in Hollywood. demonstrating that viewers still prefer classic narrative over modernization. For the time being, all eyes are on the release dates, with fans eager to discover which Snow White reigns supreme. What do you think? Should Disney stick with its modernized version and keep Rachel Zegler? Or is it time for a new face?